Before we get into the video, I'd ask that you consider subscribing to our channel, not just so that you're notified about content or additional content that we put on this channel, but also so that others out there can receive our information. What happens is that the more subscribers that a channel has, the more relevant the information is deemed, and so other players out there will receive our information in their YouTube feeds. So by subscribing, not only are you helping yourself by being notified of content, you're helping the pickleball community by just giving them access to this information. So if you consider our information valuable or helpful to you, please consider subscribing below. Thanks. Hey, Into Picklers, Tony here. I want to talk to you today a little bit about spins. What I want to talk about are the different types of spins that can be imparted onto the ball and the effects of those spins. Some of this will be pretty basic. Some players have never played tennis or a sport that has spin in it, so they're not used to recognizing spins or understanding what spins are going to do to the ball, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. First, I want to talk about how to recognize a spin coming off of your opponent's paddle. So what I want you to think about is if your opponent hits a ball where basically they're taking the paddle up down motion like this, so they're coming down on the ball on this side or on the forehand side. So on the forehand side or the backhand side, that's going to impart what's called an underspin onto the ball. If I hit the ball with underspin like I've just described, what will happen is the ball will basically travel, it'll slow the ball down. It's like putting brakes on a ball. So if I hit the ball flat, so the ball travels flat like this, it's going to bounce in a certain direction. If I apply underspin to it like this, what will happen when it bounces, it'll break, and instead of traveling on the normal arc like this it would, on a neutral ball, it'll come like this and then travel either up a little bit, it could come straight up or shorter. So basically if it's coming this way, the ball's going to land shorter. Usually where that hurts you is in a dink situation or in a third shot. So you're basically coming forward, the person cuts the ball, it floats into the kitchen, and you don't get to it in time because you're standing in a position where it's going to travel on a normal neutral arc, but because it has underspin, it breaks or it holds up, and now you have to reach for the ball to get to the ball. What you want to do is you want to realize when your opponent slices that ball from high to low like this or like this, that's the type of spin that's coming onto the ball, and you want to adjust your movement according to that spin. The other common spin is called topspin. Topspin is the opposite. So topspin would be if someone was hitting from low to high, so I'm hitting from here up, or on a forehand from here up. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to impart an overspin onto the ball, or a topspin as it's called normally, but it's basically an overspin. So a neutral ball would be like this, underspin would spin like this, topspin is going to spin the opposite. It's going to spin like this, so it's going to spin over the top. So what will happen there is, again, going back to the neutral shot, a neutral shot will bounce like this. Topspin will actually pop the ball. So as soon as the ball lands, it's going to pop off all like this. If your opponent's hitting up on the ball like this and imparting topspin onto it, what you want to do is you want to be ready for the ball to basically come at you off of the court. So what will happen is when it lands, it's going to pop into you. So when you're standing there waiting to receive it, you have to basically stand a little further away. So if it's an underspin shot, you want to get closer to the ball. Neutral shot, stand in your normal position. If it's a topspin shot, you want to get a little further away from the ball to give yourself more time. So those are the two primary spins that you'll see out there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at some spins, underspin, topspin, and flat shots. Our friend Tommy is going to feed me some shots, and I'll show you how I move differently depending on whether the shot's an underspin, a topspin, or a flat ball. And you can see on some of the shots in underspin, notice how Tommy's going to be hitting from high to low. When he's hitting topspin, he's hitting from low to high basically, and flat, he's just going to be hitting across it. So you can recognize how the shot's coming off of Tommy's paddle based on the type of shot he's hitting. You see how that ball holds up? So that ball basically, it holds up. It doesn't have a normal trajectory. See that? So it holds up. So I have to actually move up closer to the ball in order to hit it than I would if it was a flat ball. So that ball holds up and I have to move up into it. So maybe some flat balls. So you see a flat ball will have a certain arc to it, not like an underspin ball. So it has a normal trajectory. And now Tommy switches back to the cut ball again. You'll see how the ball basically, see, it doesn't go anywhere. Basically, it holds up. So if he underspins it, I have to move into the ball in order to hit that ball. So I have to get closer to it. If I stay in a normal position on this ball, now I can't reach the ball properly. I can't get to the ball because I didn't step into it because it has underspin. I can't step in. If I don't move into that ball, I'm not going to get to it because it has underspin, so I have to get into that ball. Now Tommy's going to show us some topspin balls, and you see how the ball's going to bounce differently off the ground. It's going to come towards me, and I'll have to move back sometimes depending on how the ball's hit. All right, so these balls here have topspin on them, so you can see how they're spinning towards me. You can see them travel through the air, and they're spinning towards me. See how Tommy's hitting from low to high, and he's putting topspin on that ball. So now the ball's traveling more towards me, so I have to back up because the arc of the ball is getting pushed into my body more than it was under the underspin and under the flat spin. So if you have topspin move back, underspin move in,
flat ball, you can stand wherever you think is appropriate based on the shot.
Let's slow these different shots down a little bit so you can see a little better here. We're first going to look at the actual shots, then we'll look at the strokes. And this first one, the regular one's on the left and the underspin's on the right. You can see in the left, I'm hitting the ball kind of in a normal position. On the one on the right, I have to reach out a little more because it's an underspin, so the ball doesn't quite reach me as the one on the left. So one on the left travels on a regular arc, the one on the right's holding up. And this next one, we're going to look at a regular one and a topspin. Same thing, regular's on the left. You see I'm hitting in a normal spot. The topspin pushes into me, so I actually have to kind of pull back a little bit, or I'm hitting the ball back behind me as opposed to the regular one where I'm hitting it in a normal position. In this last one, we're going to look at both underspin and topspin on the same frame. So you'll see underspin on the left and topspin on the right. Here you should be able to see the biggest difference in terms of where I'm hitting the ball. On the left side, I'm hitting the ball well out in front. On the right one, the topspin I'm hitting it kind of jammed into me or into my body because I didn't move back. So it shows you the difference in how the ball will react based on an underspin and a topspin, with the underspin holding up and pulling away from me or not coming towards me, and the topspin basically pushing into me. So you have to be able to move in order to be able to adjust to each one of these different spins. In these next frames, we're going to switch from the ball conduct to actually recognizing the stroke. What I want you to look at here is Tommy's hitting a regular stroke on the left and an underspin stroke on the right. On the left side, you're going to see how Tommy is basically bringing the paddle almost directly into the ball, so in a flat shot, whereas on the right side, the underspin shot, he's actually kind of bringing the paddle a little bit up over the ball and then cutting under that ball to create the underspin on the shot. Let's do the same thing here with the regular one on the left and topspin on the right. On the regular one, again, you can see the paddle basically coming flat towards the ball. On the one on the right, the topspin, you can see Tommy going underneath the ball or taking the paddle underneath the ball. The reason he does that is so that he can then come up over the ball and spin the ball over the top, creating the topspin on the shot. Let's look at the topspin one more time. What I want you to focus on this time is the difference in the follow-through between the regular shot and the topspin shot. You'll notice that in the topspin shot on the right, Tommy's paddle travels much higher than it does in the regular shot. That's because he's imparting topspin on it, and in order to do so, the follow-through has to go up in the manner on the right. Let's look at one more sequence. We'll look at topspin on the left and underspin on the right. I want you to focus on two things. One, I want you to focus on the paddle preparation on each shot by Tommy, topspin underneath, underspin above, and then I want you to look at the follow-through for each. Topspin, Tommy finishes high. Underspin, he finishes basically straight across like on a cut shot. This should help you recognize when a player is hitting topspin versus underspin so that you know what type of spin is coming your way.
What you want to focus on is reading the underspin, so your opponent's paddle high to low, or topspin low to high. That'll tell you what type of spin is coming your direction, and you can get ready for it better. Want to thank our friend Tommy for helping us make this video possible today. So if you're ever out playing with Tommy, give him thanks. Oh, it's going. It's on right now. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna send you guys video and be like, hey, I got the. All right, there you go. All right. Awesome. All over the place. I'm like, are you wandering behind? I know. I'm behind me.
Okay, let's go.